Denver Nuggets, this thing opened Nuggets -1.5. It's up to 5.5. No Rudy Gobert on the first half of the back-to-back versus the Utah Jazz. Denver had to face Minnesota on I think all four of their back-to-backs last season. All four of their matchups were back-to-back, and so they got and one of them this season. And so the schedulers got him back, and now Minnesota's got to face Denver. These two teams face three times over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, no Karl Anthony Towns. Rudy Gobert's availability is really important here. Brian, let's start with you. Let's say, well, actually, no, because you get the money line on it. We'll hit you with the other side of the Pelicans. Let's start with Jay. Jay, you like the Nuggets -4.5. Your cutoff is 6, so it's already up to 5.5. Only got a half point of value here before you're chasing too much steam. He says, why do you like Denver to get the win on the road here?
Yeah, I think it's just a schedule spot. They did already lose earlier this year versus Minnesota. Obviously, the Wolves are always going to want to beat the Nuggets. They did get kicked out of the playoffs, but it's just a bad spot. They're coming back home off a 6-game road trip. This is a back-to-back coming from Utah as well. We don't know if Naz Reid's going to play in this game. It depends if he had a concussion. He did leave the game with a head injury, so don't be a bit surprised if Naz Reid is not playing this game. I do expect Rudy Gobert to come back, but I mean, sometimes lately when I've been saying that players, oh, they're coming back tomorrow, and then they still sit out. So I think these players are kind of realizing, hey, I cannot play the game and I still might get my game check, but that's a whole different conversation. But it's mainly a spot play here, revenge spot for the Nuggets. Obviously, they're a half game ahead of the Wolves as well, so this is big. If the Nuggets want the number 2 seed or the number 1 seed, this is a big game. It has a lot of implications here. So not a ton of stats and things like that. I really just think it's a spot play, fading the Wolves coming off a back-to-back at home off a 6-game road trip and coming from altitude as well. And they're banged up as well. So, but I do think Gobert comes back and could possibly push the line back down. But the way the Nuggets are coming off a loss as well, they've been playing really great team defense. And when teams do that versus the Wolves, you can really see their offense get stuck in the mud. So, I'll put a little something on the Nuggets in this particular spot.
Yeah, I need to see what the injury report looks like. If Rudy's back and we're still catching something that's above 4, I will go ahead and I'll be on Wolves. I get it. You're right. It's a revenge spot. The Nuggets are very good after a loss. They're not the same team on the road. The Nas injury, I think, is pretty significant here, too. I will stay away if either Rudy or Nas is out. If either of those guys is out, I will leave this one alone. This is only Wolves or nothing for me. I will say the Nuggets don't like this matchup. They just don't. They do not like it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker gives Jamal Murray problems. Jaden McDaniels gives Jamal Murray problems. And when you attack and you get into their space, especially with these new rules and how the game is being officiated right now, that can disrupt things. When you have the kind of physicality, Jokic got really taken out versus the Mavericks because they were basically fouling him. And I don't have a problem with it. I like this type of basketball. Like, that's Joker's problem to deal with it. But if Joker doesn't engage and get back into it and just fight back, it's going to be a problem. And Rudy's had, let me make this very clear. Jokic owns Rudy because Jokic owns absolutely everybody, but Rudy makes him work. Anthony Davis does not make Nikola Jokic work. He does not have to work. It's water to him. Rudy Gobert is not water. Rudy Gobert is concrete. And he does a really good job of just making him work for it, and that can wear him down. Edwards has huge games versus the Nuggets. I like the matchup. I don't like the spot. The schedule's tough here. I need to be able to get a very specific number that's above 2 possessions. So I need 4.5 or greater. Otherwise, I'll stay away. But this is Wolves are nothing for me. However, Brian is on the other side of this.
I'll start with the Nuggets because that'll be a little bit more brief. I just think they're going to win the game. Ultimately, I think it comes down to me, just late game execution. Whether or not Rudy Gobert is there, like, it doesn't really apply in this respect. Because to me, in terms of late game execution, Denver has been a different team lately. They're rounding into who they were last year around this time of the year, or more specifically in the playoffs. And I trust them more in late game situations versus a team in Minnesota who I don't really trust at all in late game situations. So I think the line is proper. Like, I think, where it is now makes a lot of sense. It scared me off of it because I think this could be a 1-possession game very easily. But ultimately, that's why I went money line and parlayed it with the Pelicans.